It's the one you've been waiting for, our first Blackout everyday carry selection. So let's take a trip to the dark side. Not everyone wants to carry their keys or gear on their belt, but for those that do, this is one of the nicest options I've seen. And this is from Spigen, makers of quality phone cases. And we have here a titanium belt clip which can accommodate a decent sized belt and provides a keyring attachment point and this carabiner style clip so you can easily attach your keys or other gear. And this is made from a single piece of titanium and has no separate moving parts, so less to go wrong. And since almost every bit of EDC these days has a bottle opener included, I wouldn't expect anything less of this. And sure enough, here's your bottle opener right there. Being titanium, this weighs just 17 grams or 0.6 of an ounce, and that includes the supplied split ring keyring, which is also made from titanium. And the price comes in at £20 or dollars, which I think is pretty reasonable considering the materials used and the quality on offer. And if you want to know more about anything featured here, I'll have links in the video description down below. Just click on show more. We have the Trayvax Original 2.0 Tactical Wallet, which is an evolution of the very first Trayvax wallet. And I wasn't sure if I'd like this, but I actually really do. It's simple and it works really well. We have two metal plates here. The one on the front has this window in it for showcasing your photo ID, and this is also the area you use to push the cards out. And this part is made from aluminium to keep the weight down. Then on the back of the wallet we have another plate, and this is made from steel for maximum strength, and that's because we have this clip here neatly integrated which needs to flex. And we also have here a pry bar which doubles up as a large flathead screwdriver and also a scraper. And then we have a hole here which can be used to attach something like a carabiner, so you can attach this wallet, say, to your belt or maybe your keys. The clip here has three functions. It can be used as a money clip, or my preference, a pocket clip, for when you want to carry this in the front pocket of your jeans to stop it falling to the bottom. And it also doubles up as a bottle opener with this cutout here. What else do we have? Well, there's some nice detail in here, like these finger grips on the edge here. Also, the weight is under control at 68 grams or 2.4 ounces, and the whole thing feels really well made. And as you can see, it's made in the USA. In use, you simply loosen the paracord as you would loosen, say, a shoelace, and this incidentally is standard 550 paracord, so you could customize it with your own color choice. And then you put your cards in the top here. Now it's supposed to take up to 15 cards. I've only got 4 here, which is what I would normally carry, and they simply go into the top like that. And then we have a clip which goes over the top and locks the cards in place. And once you've decided what you plan to carry, you simply cinch up the paracord, then it holds that space so you have exactly the right size of wallet for what you plan to use it for, and then you're ready to go. To access the cards, you simply unclip here, and then using your thumb you slide the cards up, and then you can fan them out and access the one you want. And it doesn't hold the cards as tightly as you might find with an elasticated option, and that's a good thing because it means the cards are actually easier to slide up. Simple but effective, and I think this is a great wallet, and at under £50 or dollars I think it comes in at a great price too. Next up we have the Civivi Foldis, and this is a really nice looking pocket knife which is non-lock-in and has a blade length of just under 3 inches, so should be legal to carry in most countries that allow knives to be carried. However, the blade here is deployed with this flipper action, and in the UK this might now be classified as a flick knife following a recent change in the legislation, and therefore may not be legal to carry over here. So worth doing a bit of homework if you do plan to carry this. The drop point blade has a black stone washed finish and a flat flat grind and is super sharp. And the steel used here is Nitro V, which is a very good steel for a knife at this price. When open, the blade is held in position with a double detent rather than the back spring, which is normally associated with a slip joint. And that means it can be flipped open in this rather enjoyable and fidgety way, which is actually quite addictive. In fact, there's no nail nick on this blade at all, which means the only way to deploy it is to use the flipper. And this does mean though that very little force is required to close a knife, and that means real care needs to be taken when using it not to pull back if the blade is lodged in whatever you are cutting, or it could easily fold onto your fingers. There are a few scale options with this knife. This is the G10 with some nice detailing. There's also a micarta version, as well as this very nice, if rather heavy, copper version here with a silver bead blasted blade. For a compact knife, I can still get a full 4-finger grip on the handle here, although I do have quite small hands. And we have a bit of jimping here at the base of the blade, which adds additional grip and a bit of safety if it does start to fold unexpectedly. We also have some jimping on the back of the blade for a bit of extra thumb grip as well. There's a concealed lanyard post here, and then we have this deep carry wire pocket clip, which is discreet and it can switch sides for left-handers and provides for tip-up carry. The black G10 version I have here is nice and light at 61 grams or 2.2 ounces. The copper version though is nearly twice as heavy at 110 grams or 3.9 ounces. As for the price, the black G10 version will cost you around $70 in the US and around £80 in the UK. And if you want the copper version, add about 30% to that. There are a lot of options when it comes to portable cutlery, but few are as compact as this one. This is from Outlery, who are on a mission to replace single-use plastic cutlery. And a lot of thought has gone into this, starting with this very nice tin here, which opens to reveal a silicone liner to silence the clatter and help protect the contents. And a little bit of humour goes a long way too. Let's quickly have a look at what we've got in here. So inside we have a knife which has a protective silicone sleeve, got a fork and a spoon. Each of these is made up of 3 parts. Then we have these 2 pieces here in case you would rather use chopsticks for your noodles. And then we have a rubber sleeve which is designed to help when screwing the pieces together in case you need a bit more grip. And then we have a turtle, and I believe the turtle is a reminder that you're doing your bit to help rid the oceans of plastic waste. And I'm also thinking it might actually be a chopstick stand too. It took me around 30 seconds to put a knife, fork and spoon together. Totally worth it to be able to use decent cutlery when out and about. And I'm a big fan of what Outlery have got going on here. The only downside I can really find with these is that they're made out of stainless steel and therefore quite heavy at 170 grams or 6 ounces for the full set. And I'm a fanatic about traveling light, so I'd definitely be interested if there was a titanium version for travel. Now there's a range of colors and other options to choose from, and as for the price, well, these are not cheap at around £30 or $40, but I guess nice things rarely are. My adventure travel watch of choice is this Luminox from the Navy SEAL range, so it was good to see a more affordable model in all black to include in this lineup. And this is the Luminox Leatherback Sea Turtle Blackout and comes in at around £250 or dollars, which makes it one of the most affordable in the Luminox range. It has a low profile all black 39mm Carbonox case with a black dial and black numerals and a date function. It also has a unidirectional bezel and is seriously lightweight at just 40 grams or 1.4 ounces. The strap here is rubber. We have hardened mineral glass crystal and a Swiss quartz movement with a 4-year battery life. And this watch is also water resistant to 100 meters or 330 feet. Carbonox material used in the case is made from carbon powder, which is ultra lightweight, shock resistant and scratch resistant. It's also non-metallic and anti-allergenic. And with all Luminox watches, the really compelling feature, for me at least, is the inclusion of the always visible light tubes around the face and on the hands, which glow continuously without a power source for up to 25 years. And that means you can read the time in total darkness at a glance all of the time. The lower price point here for this model though does mean you get less tubes than you find in the more expensive models. So here we have an entry-level, super lightweight and very black addition to the Luminox range. This is a clipper lighter and so is this, but they are different. Apart from being all black and looking, in my view at least, very cool, this one is made of metal and is part of Clipper's limited edition range. The original is a popular everyday carry choice. It's affordable, it's reliable, it's refillable, and it's lightweight at just 16 grams or half an ounce. And the flint wheel is removable and can be used as a sparking option if the fuel runs out and you happen to have some tinder nearby. The metal version is heavier at 38 grams or 2.3 ounces, but all the other clipper features remain and it feels really nice in the hand. So if that extra weight doesn't bother you, this is a really nice lighter with an understated, strangely sophisticated vibe and easily worth the £10 it costs, even if that is about 5 times more expensive than the plastic version. It wouldn't be everyday carry without a flashlight or torch, and this is the EDC27 from Nitecore, and although I don't carry it all the time, this is my go-to when heading out at night. And what sets this apart is a 3000 lumen maximum turbo light level, which is very bright for a light of this size. We also have a long battery life, and then we have this great OLED screen so you can see how much time you have left at the 5 different light levels, and an intuitive 2-button tail switch which gives instant access to the lowest light level, turbo and strobe. So the idea is you can choose the perfect light level based on how much battery you have left, and then if you think you see something in the dark, you can instantly light it up with turbo for a few seconds and then go back to the previous light level, and that's exactly what you would want. Or you can go straight to strobe if you need to, say, disorientate an attacker or maybe an unfriendly dog. The form factor is very pocketable and it feels great in the hand, and it also has a substantial pocket clip and USB-C fast charging, and it also has a lockout mode, and that's important if you are keeping it in your pocket to avoid accidental activation. The only downsides in my book are no moonlight mode and a relatively poor water resistance rating, which means it's fine in the rain, but you wouldn't want to submerge this. The price is around the £90 or dollar mark, and if you want to see my full review of this light, I'll include a link to that video here and in the description down below. When it comes to carrying a pen in the pocket, I much prefer the shorter variety, so it can go in my front jeans pocket, and we have here 2 options at 2 very different ends of the price scale. Let's start with this one. This is the 1121 shorthand from the well-known knife maker Benchmade. It's quite short at 93mm, which is 3.7 inches, and it's engineered from anodized aluminium, weighing in at just 20 grams or 0.7 ounces. It sits nicely in the hand and has some nice detailing, and includes this very substantial pocket clip and also this rather unusual double axis bolt action, which I've not seen before. As far as the refill goes, it takes a decent Lamy M22. As for the price, well, you'll need to find an eye-watering £140 or dollars. And if that sounds too much, then we have another option here. This is the Trayvax Bullet Space Pen, and if you think this looks like the Fisher Bullet Space Pen, then you would be right, because it's made by Fisher and is exactly the same apart from the shape of this cap, which is flat at the end. This is made from brass in the USA and includes the usual pressurized Fisher refill, so it should write in 0 gravity if you find yourself in space, and upside down underwater over oil and grease, and it should last 3 times longer than the average ballpoint pen. This one is 91mm in length, weighs in at 21 grams or 0.74 ounces, and the price is a rather more affordable £40. I don't know about you, but I still use hand sanitizer regularly, especially when traveling. And this sanitizer dispenser from Orbitkey does a good job of actually making hand sanitizer look cool. Now, I don't see this as particularly just for COVID, but for all viruses that survive on surfaces, especially colds and flu, and also germs and bacteria, which can lead to sickness and diarrhea. Now, this holds 50 ml or 1.8 fluid ounces, so well within the current airline hand carry 100 ml limit, and it's quick to apply with less mess thanks to this pump. And this carabiner here means you can easily clip it onto your backpack or sling bag or belt, so it's always within easy reach. So carrying hand sanitizer, in my view, is actually a small price to pay if it helps me avoid becoming ill, particularly when I'm traveling. And the price is around £25 or dollars. For those, and I'm thinking Americans here, who prefer their folding knives to be big and are not troubled by blade length or locking blade restrictions, then you might be interested in this. This is Spyderco's Manix 2 XL DLC, and it's very big and it's very black. DLC standing for diamond-like coating to finish, used to avoid light reflection in tactical use. This is the big brother of the highly regarded Manix 2 and is ideal for big hands and big cutting tasks. And if we compare it with my Spyderco UK PK, you can see that the Manix 2 XL is indeed XL. The blade on this knife is made from S30V, which is a premium grade knife steel, and it has a full flat grind and is 3.86 inches in length. It's very smooth to open single-handedly using Spyderco's signature ambidextrous hole, and locks in place firmly with Spyderco's own ball bearing lock mechanism, and it does feel very secure and requires a finger and thumb to release the blade. And the size of this knife also means it can be opened easily with gloves on. Here we have a finger choil, and we also have some thumb jimping on the back, and also some extra grip provided by the top of the liners here, and also the bottom of the liners where you grip it with your fingers. So we have lots of grip points here, and that gives you a really secure hold with plenty of really good control. The liners run the full length of the knife for added strength and are skeletonized to reduce weight. And the scales are G10 with a really grippy surface texture. We have a pocket clip here which can be switched to the other side for left-handers and provides for tip-up carry, and we also have this lanyard hole here. Also, this Spyderco is made in the USA, and that's good to see, as not all of them are. If this is on the large size for you, and it is for me, then there's always the original Manix 2, which is also a great knife and is smaller and more suited to everyday carry for most people. But for those that do big, this is a well-made, great-looking, capable folding knife with some great features, and it will cost you around £200 or dollars. If you're an avid user of tweezers, then you're really going to like these. These are the Tac-N-Tweeze from the respected knife maker Civivi, and these are super precision, coming to a really fine point. And these would be my first choice with any splinter, even beating my go-to silver gripper tweezers from Uncle Bill, as you can see here if we see them side by side. The tweezers are steel and slide in and out of this black stonewashed brass case, which becomes a handle for precise control. And the tweezers are fixed in place with this locking screw here. The case protects the tweezers when not in use, and I think that's a great idea when you've got something as precision as this, and it also incorporates a keyring loop. You also get a leather pouch as well, and the whole thing goes together like that. This thing will set you back around £30 to £40 in the UK and around $30 in the US, and that is expensive for a pair of tweezers, but I have to say I love the look of these and they do work really well. And if you'd like to see some more themed everyday carry, then just click on this link here. That's it for this one. I hope that's been useful. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. It really helps the channel grow, and I hope you can join me in the next one.